I'm 60 years old, and it took me literally 30 plus years to learn what I'm going to show you. And I'm going to cover 7 of the biggest mistakes I've made. I hope you learn from my mistakes so you don't have to go through them. At the time I was making the mistakes, it would be really hard to convince me otherwise, because I was kind of in the mindset of, I think I know it all, and I wasn't really receptive. So I hope you're receptive. It can prevent years of misery. I don't know if I'm just a glutton for punishment or whatever, but I've been through some serious health crises in my past. On one hand, I think I can relate to a lot of people, since I've had nearly every single symptom that most of my patients had. So I wouldn't consider that a good thing, but it's something that happened and I can relate. But let's just dive in to 7 huge mistakes that I made that I want to show you what I should have done. Number 1, 100 vitamins a day. There was a point in my life where I was taking even more than 100 vitamins a day. I'm talking not just vitamins, I'm talking bottles of vitamins. I would be driving down the street with my wife and I'd say, honey, let's go over to the health food store. Maybe they can help me. We'd go in there and come out with more vitamins. I had a warehouse of vitamins. I had chronic fatigue syndrome. I had severe insomnia. I had arthritis, all sorts of issues. And I'm trying to find the vitamin that's going to give me more energy and help me. And so this kept happening over and over and over and over, because I didn't want to take drugs. I wanted to take something natural, okay? But what I didn't know at the time, they only work if your diet is good, okay? My diet sucked. And I just didn't have enough of the macronutrients. If we take a look at macros, we're talking about fats, protein, and carbohydrates. I was doing a vegan diet at the time and trying to get protein from plants. Oh my gosh, I did not do well on that. I just couldn't feel satisfied. What I should have done is I should have started the day out with animal protein. You have to realize the purpose of protein is for repair of the body. A lot of our body is protein and we have to replace that. And a certain portion of that goes to energy, but we mainly get our energy from carbs and fats. And I'm going to recommend, don't get your energy from carbs, get it from fats. And so if I would have gone back in time, I would have focused on fatty animal meat. Number 2, detox was very popular. Here you are flushing out all your good bacteria too, and you're flushing out electrolytes, which could be very dangerous. And you were eating basically nothing. You had some fiber, apple juice, some vitamins. And the problem is, if I would have not consumed the apple juice, I could have got into ketosis and I could actually probably felt good during it. But you never want to do a cleanse or a fasting program with juice. And I did the master cleanse with lemon juice, I think cayenne pepper and maple syrup. I've done that too. Bad idea, because the body can never convert over to fat because you just have enough sugar to keep things going. So you're always going to be hungry. And I would just feel miserable while I'm doing them. So I had a lot of digestive problems afterwards. But it wasn't just the colon detoxes. I did herbal detoxes. And I can't tell you how many times I got sick for 2 weeks because I'm taking these powerful herbs that release toxicity, which then create an immune reaction. And now I'm sick in bed for 2 weeks. I remember one time I did a gallbladder cleanse. Okay, so I drank 12 ounces of extra virgin olive oil. And before I did that, I took a handful of beet pills because I thought, well, I'll just wash it down with olive oil. Stupid. I put all that in my mouth. I drank all this olive oil. And then it solidified in my esophagus. I mean, I almost died. And then you have to lay on your right side for a period of time. I mean, I've done it all. So again, that was like a complete waste of time. What I should have done is just get on the right eating plan, maybe take some supplements, but the key is getting on animal protein, vegetables, some probiotics, some cheese. I would have solved so many problems. All right, number 3, I said, I'll eat healthy when I graduate. I was in college, living on carbs, not to mention very strong coffee. And if I could only go back in time, and if I ate healthy, which wouldn't be that expensive, by the way, I could have had just eggs or sardines or something like that. But oh my gosh, my brain would have worked so much better. I was just constantly tired through college, trying to struggle to study when I'm so tired and I had to sleep. But a lot of that fatigue was just blood sugar. I didn't know it. And what's interesting about this, as soon as I graduated, did I eat healthy? No. And then I became a vegan for a while because I thought that was the healthy way to go with all these beans and the clean protein. And that was really bad because my entire gut started getting inflamed and I started going downhill even faster until eventually I figured out the healthy version of the ketogenic diet, where I started to really turn my health around. And if I would have known about that back then, it would have been a game changer. Don't wait until you get my age to change your ways because it's going to catch up with you sooner or later. Might as well do it right now. I promise you'll be happy down the road. Number 4, this is interesting, right shoulder pain. I had this delusion that I had right shoulder pain and I had to fix it. So I went to every single therapist, chiropractor, massage therapist to keep working on my shoulder. I had a permanent tightness underneath my right rib cage all the time. It was just constant. And I didn't know what it was. The right shoulder pain is nearly always a red light indicator switch for your gallbladder and the bile ducts in the liver. I did go to several doctors after I had an ulcer, and they're just like, yeah, looking at me kind of funny, like, yeah, I don't know what that is. My bile was sludge that caused some tightness through this area that I was always pressing into that referred pain in my right shoulder. Question, do you really have the right cause, or could it be coming from something else? That's the lesson for that one. Number 5, intermittent fasting. Nothing. What does that mean? Someone told me about intermittent fasting a long time ago, and I was like, that's nothing. There's nothing to that. Until I actually tried it and looked at it from the viewpoint of our ancestors who did not eat so frequently. And the snacking raises insulin. Every time you eat, you raise insulin. It's the frequent eating that creates so many problems. It's way more significant than you think. All the snacking, especially at night before you go to bed, we're constantly grazing. This is so different. Our bodies were not designed to graze, okay? And as soon as I started giving up the snacking, not only did I go from 211 pounds down to 185, but all the swelling in my eyes cleared up. That was like an insulin problem. That was fluid retention. I had a round face. Many people that have a puffy face or round or puffy eyes are just eating too many snacks and doing too many carbs. Okay, so intermittent fasting, wow, that was a game changer. I recommend it for everyone. I recommend the average person should only be eating 2 meals a day, and some people should just be doing 1 meal a day. Because if you start doing too many meals, you're just jacking up insulin. You think you actually have real hunger when it's not hunger. It's just low blood sugar. You're running on glucose, and you can only last so long, maybe an hour and a half until you need a little something, right? So you keep getting in this mode where you're fueling the body, but you're really just living on sugar. You never convert it over into fat burning, ketosis. So that's the purpose of that system, to be able to go from one meal to the next without being hungry. Number 6, I was doing the kale shakes. I still have a lot of videos on this. They're okay, but I was doing way too many, okay? I was just down on these kale shakes. I was in this mindset that we needed to do a tremendous amount of fiber, okay? And I was getting away with it up to a certain point, and I didn't really have a problem, but I do know a lot of people, you overload them with fiber, okay, especially with a lot of kale shakes, and it just creates bloating and inflammation in their gut. If I could go back in time, I would have just started small and just see what they can tolerate, but not go crazy with all the kale shakes, because with the kale, you have to sweeten it. So you have to have pineapple, blueberry, and now we're adding more carbs. It's not the best healthy thing in the world to do. Now, that being said, I'm not against plants. I'm not against a combination of plants. I think for most people, they could have a moderate amount. Some people need smaller amounts. I'm not consuming the 10 cups of salad anymore. I don't recommend it. I pretty much do like 5 cups 1 time a day, but sometimes I'll switch it to fermented sauerkraut. I do a lot of that. Occasionally I will do a kale shake, but it's not going to be a huge, massive one. I'll just do a little bit, maybe with a little bit of blueberries. I'm very cautious about too much fruit, especially if it's like sweet pineapple. And especially if you're just doing a kale shake for breakfast, I don't recommend that. If you're going to do a breakfast, do a protein breakfast. Don't do a little bit of a sweet carb thing for breakfast, because it's going to create hunger and cravings down the road. Okay, let me go to number 7, magnesium deficiency. One of the antidotes or prevention for kidney stones is magnesium. If you don't have enough magnesium, you'll have this ratio of too much calcium that will connect to the oxalates. Because your body actually does make oxalates too. It doesn't just come from like spinach and kale and almonds and chocolate. What happened with me, I did have a kidney stone. And at the time, I wasn't eating a lot of spinach and things, but I was very deficient at magnesium. I really never took magnesium as a supplement through the years. It prevents the calcium from making a stone. And that really is a game changer for helping a lot of people get rid of stones, especially if they're starting to get one, and make it shrink, and also prevent kidney stones. It's magnesium. But that's not all. I had muscle spasms. Magnesium is all about the relaxation of the muscles, okay? And it's a controlling factor over calcium. If you don't have enough magnesium, the calcium will take over and you'll have more contractions. And boy, did I have charley horses and cramps. I also had, for years, terrible insomnia. I had terrible fatigue. So I had a really severe magnesium deficiency, not to mention vitamin D deficiency. So both of those were a huge problem. I think one of the ancestral things that we did way back in the day is we got a lot of magnesium from our well water. And then all of a sudden it switched and got rid of the magnesium, especially in the city water. That's one of the big causes of a magnesium deficiency, is we don't get it from the water like we used to. I have a free download that I want to give to you. This free download is my daily routine in a checklist. This is a routine that I use every day to feel like I'm 18 years old, even though I'm 60 years old, and I want to give it to you for free. And so there's a little link down below. Click it and definitely download that. And so now that I covered the mistakes, let's talk about what you should be eating as the most important foods, okay? And for that information, I put it in this video right here. Check it out.